Against the backdrop of the Bavarian Alps, G7 leaders have come together at a critical time in world affairs. Record inflation, a cost of living crisis, and a brutal war in Ukraine dominating the agenda. President Ramaphosa leads South Africa's delegation to the talks. A guest of the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, he joins India, Indonesia, Senegal and Argentina on the special invite list. Ramaphosa said the talks offered an opportunity to advocate not just on behalf of South Africa, but the African continent as a whole.
And our participation this year happens during real serious challenges that are facing the world. The COVID pandemic, climate change, as well as the conflict between Russia and the Ukraine. And so those issues pretty much dominated the discussions at the G7. And being here together with the chair of the African Union, we together represented the African Union and our continent, and we were able to make inputs on all the issues. The first issue, of course, for us was in some ways to reflect on the path that we had traversed together with India and many other countries on the issue of the TRIPS waiver at the WTO, where we argued against the views that were expressed by many G7 countries, and finally got them to concede that there should be a waiver.
Aid organisations have warned that the world is on the cusp of a major food crisis, with some 25 million tonnes of grain currently stuck in Ukraine, much of which was destined for Africa.
Particularly in the light of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, where there are now food shortages. Food prices have gone up. There's a shortage of fertilizer, and the cereals and grains that Russia and Ukraine produce are not getting through, and this has led to huge shortages, and prices have gone up for many developing economy countries. The Nations Secretary General explained exactly the efforts that he has been involved in to open the channels so that the grain and the cereals and the fertilizers that come from Russia and the Ukraine can begin to be exported to various parts of the world. We thought the report was very positive and that it would be very helpful when that happens.
Anti-poverty campaigner Edwin Ikoria says he hopes leaders are listening to the warnings.
Enough of words. Let's put the plans, the vision, the resources to bring action. Where is the global solidarity? Why is the urgency to deal with a security situation? Why is that same urgency not dealing with the food situation? That is my question to them, and I hope that they can actually answer that sincerely.
One of the main points of disagreement which has emerged at this summit is the idea of prioritising food over fuel. The UK is pushing to temporarily reduce the production of biofuels, petrol which is made using crops like corn or sugarcane, and then redirecting those crops to food supplies instead. But the US disagrees, saying it will block that move because it will push up the price of petrol. But as those diplomatic discussions take place high in the mountains, on the ground, the UN is warning that some 345 million people in the world don't have enough food to eat. And that number is growing by the day. It's a stark reminder of what's at stake as the eyes of the world look to this alpine region for answers in a period of growing uncertainty. Trent Murray for SABC News, Bavaria, Germany.